Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently working on the contract to rendezvous two vessels in orbit of Kerbin. Of course, in order to do this, we don't need to dock them together, we just need to get close to each other. So let's go ahead and hop into the VAB. We've already got our rocket for this built, and we're going to open this on up. That'll be the Heavy Lifter Mark 1, this guy right here. And this rocket is going to be... well, it's going to be utilized for quite a lot of things, although we'll modify it later on. We'll go ahead and launch this, and this will be heading up to rendezvous just as soon as we can. It's not going to be, like, super time efficient. This is certainly not going to be the... I don't play Kerbal Space Program optimally. It's just not something that happens. If you're looking for that, you might be in the wrong channel. But we get it done eventually. So we're going to go ahead and lift on off here. Fantastic. And we are going to immediately begin our gravity turn. We'll keep it a little bit gentle for right now. We're at a heading of like 95 degrees, which is pretty far off from where I'd like to be at the moment. But we'll just go ahead and hold somewhere around here. Excellent. Oh, we've got Bill. I meant to have Bob. Every time I restart the game, I forget that it resets who you have in this. It doesn't actually matter that badly, though, because our resettable experiments, I think we already have low Earth orbit from, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. We're going to try to set our heading to be a little bit more correct here. That'd be nice. Okay, we're drifting off a bit here. Let's go ahead and just lock prograde for the moment. Excellent. So that'll do just fine. We're going to be on like a 92 degree heading, but that's okay. It's close enough. We're going to be ditching our side boosters shortly here. Right about now. Off they go beautifully. Excellent. So we are looking at an apoapsis height of 35 kilometers at the moment. And this is absolutely fine. We've got plenty of Delta V to make this happen. I did not check this staging, did I? Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and move our drogue chutes on down. That's absolutely fine. And this can go up top. That'll definitely be handy. So, I mean, this is definitely going to get us into orbit here. This first stage here. That's always good. I wouldn't mind adjusting our heading downward a little bit here. Just trying to get this moved on back. And that's a little bit better. It's not perfect, but it'll do. Okay, so apoapsis height is currently about where we want it to be in terms of altitude. So let's just head to the horizon for the moment here. And we'll just burn here until we're at... well, what apoapsis do we need to target here? This is probably fine. We'll just target 80 kilometers. There we go. So we've got another 775 meters per second here in this stage. And we're going to burn most, if not all of that, to circularize. Something along the lines of this. Okay, yeah, it looks like that's going to burn all of this and a little bit of our maneuvering stage. That's fine. So we're going to go ahead and position here on the node. This is going to be... oh, we're still in Atmo. Okay. We're going to position here on the node, and we're going to burn this at T-minus 33.5 seconds. We're now in space. We can grab our mystery goo observation, I guess. It's not like it's that important. Okay. So 30... so actually 15.5 seconds now that we're in space. Yeah, 15.5 is where we want to burn this. So we'll go ahead and warp towards that. And there we go. We'll come off of that and burn about now. Cool. So it looks like we're going to get into orbit with our first stage. That's always a good goal to have. And then we've got a lot of Delta V to work with in our second stage here. So that's great. We're going to get this rendezvous done fairly quick and easy. We'll just position a little bit on this marker. There we go. And we're watching the circularization of our periapsis here. That's good enough. Excellent. Okay, so we now set the ComSat as target, and we can see that our intersect is quite a long ways apart. No doubt about that. We should probably go to the periapsis here and burn prograde for a little bit, just to change this a little bit, make our periods slightly different. We may want to go bigger. Let's see. Yeah, probably. We could also go retrograde if we really wanted to. We'll just flip around to that, and we'll just try to bring this back a little bit. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just bring this on back, watching that periapsis. Okay, something a bit more like that. And then we're going to look to put in an intersect, maybe around the periapsis. What would this look like? Okay, that's not great timing. We're probably going to have to wait several orbits. That's not shocking. So we'll just toss in a few orbits here. This would go a lot faster if we had timed it correctly, or if we had been in a more different orbit. But this isn't too bad here, actually. What is the separation here? 67 kilometers. Okay, we can probably get that a little bit more fine-tuned. No, I want to keep that open, thanks. There we go. 67 kilometers. What about if we did a little bit of this number? Nope, that's not much at all. Okay, so we're going to do 0 here. Oh, I used numpad 0, which I used to switch scenes. I shouldn't do that. Okay, so that's fine. This is fairly close, but it's not exactly what we're looking for. So a little more prograde would actually get us closer. 57, 53. That's starting to get further away again. So it looks like 53 kilometers is about what we've got. I did not want anything here. Okay. So, no, let me control this. Thank you. Okay. So 53 kilometers is about the best we've got here. Okay. That's fine. We can work with that. So we'll go ahead and align for that burn. It's only going to be a 16 meter per second burn. Our reaction wheel is very slow. I'm not shocked by this. We have 35 meters per second left in this tank here, so we've actually still got a lot. And let's position here. That's close enough to brake, and then we'll just get positioned in. There we go. And then we can just go ahead and warp to this maneuver. We got moved off of it a little bit there, that's for sure. But it seems like it's catching up. Oh, let's not do that. We should grab the science, but we can grab it on the way back. Presumably, it's just deserts, I think. Yeah, something like that. Now it's 85.3 meters per second? Okay. Well, that's fine. We can definitely work with that. So we'll just position for this, and it will be about here. Did this change? No. Still 53 kilometers. Okay, that's fine. We're going to want to burn this soon. I don't want to be going retrograde, thanks. We'll just position here and burn it right about now. Okay, and off we go. Ooh, hello. Things are definitely changing a lot. Okay, how's that looking? 30 kilometers. Well, that's better than expected. Okay, that's going the wrong direction. So we want to actually flip around over here and see if we can get that any closer. Okay, we'll just brake like so, and then... Yep, this is getting a little closer. 30 kilometers. 25. 20. 10. 0.9 kilometers. Nice. 0.0 kilometers. Okay, well, that's quite a thing. So we should warp to around here-ish. Excellent. We're going to switch into target mode. We actually dipped down into the atmosphere here. We're not going to go too far into the atmosphere, but this is going to give us some interesting... I want to go back into orbital mode, orbital retrograde here. This is going to give us some interesting effects to our separation. Yeah, you can see that the separation is increasing. I didn't look at the fact that we would be dipping down into the atmo. That's my own fault. I should have. But we are going to be able to correct that once we come back out of the atmosphere, I think. Yeah, this is changing our relative speed for us. That's nice. Okay, so we have a periapsis that's not even 65 kilometers. This isn't going to affect things too much. We're going to be a little bit more apart than I was hoping for, but it'll be okay. Yeah, 4 kilometers right now. We are reaching periapsis currently here in about 10 seconds. Make that 5, and now. That's periapsis. So we're starting to go back up now. And we're going to need to accelerate to get caught back up here to make up for that. That's okay. Like I said, I should have checked that. And really, we're just going to want to burn prograde here. So we'll just flip around to prograde. And we may want to just begin a bit of a burn right now. I'm going to come out of the time warp. And yeah, this is all we want, is just a small little prograde burn here. 4 kilometer separation. We're starting to lose efficiency here. 3 kilometer separation. Let's just do a target burn and see what that feels like. Yeah, that's about what we're looking for. 1 kilometer separation. We're losing efficiency here now too. That's okay. This is close enough. So we'll go ahead and warp over this way, although I do want time warp to be stopped if we get anywhere useful. Oh, we're still in Atmo. Okay, fair enough. We'll go ahead and stop the time warp. We'll be out of atmosphere very soon here. Okay. Yeah, we're increasing our separation right now, so that's fine. We'll flip over to target retrograde because we're going to need to kill that relative velocity. There we go. And we'll just physics warp out of the atmosphere at this point. We're at 69 kilometers, and we're going to be hitting 70 momentarily. That's the border. There we go. Cool. So now we're out of the atmosphere, and we're going to go ahead and warp to here. Although we want to stop the warps. We missed the desert. Sad. Okay, we're just going to manually warp for the time being. Yeah, there's not going to be more desert there for a bit. So we can go ahead and warp to about here, 2 minutes in the future. Excellent. And that's the satellite out there. It's about 10 kilometers out. Fantastic. So we're going to need to burn off about 74 meters per second. I'm going to warp a little bit closer here. We're within 3 kilometers, so we need to kill our relative velocity now. So we'll just go ahead and do so. 1 meter per second to go here. Good enough. We're now going to burn towards target, which this is anti-target here. So towards target will be over here on the other side of the nav ball. Perfect. And we're just going to do a little bit of a get closer burn. Going up to somewhere around like 5 meters per second is probably fine. Just moving the prograde marker to encapsulate the node. Cool. There we go. We're moving towards it at 5 meters per second. And let's just warp towards it a bit. Of course, we're also still traveling over the Earth, or rather over Kerbal, but we're also approaching the ComSat. We're going to need to flip over to target retrograde here in a moment. But we're about 800 meters away. Did we technically fulfill the contract? We did technically. Okay, but we're still going to get closer. I don't know, maybe Bill needs to do a servicing mission or something. So we're going to get a little bit closer in here. Okay, so we're definitely missing a little bit. 0.4 kilometers is our current separation. So we'll kill our relative velocity. And we'll just reorient our burn here. Okay, close enough. And we are going to head on over to Pro Target. And in we go. We're going to go in at about 3 meters per second this time. There we go. We'll flip over to retrograde. That's now a separation of 0.1 kilometers. Cool. So we'll just continue to warp on in here at about 5x time warp. We just want to continue to get closer. Okay, that's about 200 meters out. So we'll kill our speed again. And then we will head on towards it again. Just a little closer here. We're getting to the point where we can easily eyeball it, and that's excellent. So we will just head on in. This time at only 1 meter per second. We'll flip over to target retrograde. Apparently we can't do this. Why can't we flip to target retrograde? SAS off, SAS on? What is causing the input blocker? Here, I'm not sure. It's not electric charge. Well, regardless, we can just turn around, face it there manually. It's not a big deal. I guess Jeb is too enthralled by the beauty and the splendor of the universe. But we're just going to head on in here at just 1 meter per second. We're currently about 50 meters away. Ooh, mountains. Grab that EVA report. Cool. Okay, we'll position retrograde. We might just be going too slow to do it, actually, now that I think about it. There we go. So we have come to a stop relative to it, approximately. This is not exact, but it's pretty close. So, Bill, why don't you go ahead and hop on out here and turn on your RCS thrusters, and we're going to have you just spacewalk your way over here. He's got some repair work to do on this satellite or something. I don't know. Yeah, there you go, Bill. Excellent. So we'll just position ourselves over here. Cool. Bill needs to tinker around with the innards of this thing. There we go. We've got a problem where they just didn't turn on the antenna, clearly. So Bill's going to come over here, and he has to push the power button. So he's going to retract this antenna. He has to turn it off and then on again. There we go. Good job, Bill. You fixed the satellite. Now we're going to go back. Excellent. Going to need to do a little bit of braking here pretty soon. Okay, something along the lines of this. We've impacted it. That's fine. Okay. Nope. Wrong direction. Wrong direction there, bud. Okay. There we go. That's more like it. Go ahead and grab on. And we're aboard. Excellent. So the ComSat is quote-unquote repaired, and now it's time for us to come on back. So we're going to go ahead and do so. We're just going to flip to orbit retrograde here. And we are out of here. Later, satellite. It was nice seeing you. Fantastic. Okay, our periapsis is quite low at this point. Maybe a little lower than I intended. I wasn't really paying attention. I should probably raise that back up. We're going to raise it up to probably around 20 kilometers. It doesn't have to be super low, but 7 kilometers is a little on the low side. So we're going to bring that up a little bit just to put a tiny bit more air between us and the ground. There we go. We can probably return this entire structure here. We're going to flip back over into retrograde, and we're going to warp forward, but I do want to be stopped if we get any science available. So let's just go ahead and warp towards the atmosphere. We know we still need deserts, so that would be a useful thing to grab. I don't know if we're going to get it here. This is highlands, grasslands, water, shores, grass. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get it here. We're going to be entering atmosphere fairly soon here. Now, we could always do a re-entry burn, but I don't think that's strictly speaking necessary. We're just going to go through the atmosphere like this for the moment. We would slow down a lot more if we didn't have this here, but it's okay. I wouldn't mind recovering this whole thing. But there we go. That's a nice rendezvous mission. Always nice to get that in the bag. Certainly not the most efficient way to do it, but we got the job done in the end, and that's what matters. So we're heading on down through the atmosphere here. We're going to do a re-entry burn once we start getting some pretty solid speed going here. Yeah, we're starting to see the heating effects here. We are slowing down, but not very rapidly. Okay, let's do a re-entry burn. We'll just do a re-entry burn down to, I don't know, maybe like 1800 meters per second. We certainly don't need to burn all the fuel we've got here, that's for sure. But we could burn some of it. Of course, this isn't the ideal engine for a re-entry burn, but that's fine. 2 kilometers per second. And, of course, our efficiency is dropping dramatically as we enter the atmosphere. And we're at 1800 meters per second as of now. So we'll stop that re-entry burn. Our deceleration isn't quite as quick as I was hoping it would be at this point, but that's probably to be expected given what we're returning here. So next up will be drogue chutes, and we've got quite a lot of time before we impact the ground. If we look at KER here, we can look at the landing here, and currently we would be looking at impacting in 1 minute 15 seconds. That will be longer for sure. We're now down to 1700 meters per second. Nice fiery re-entry here for sure, but we're slowing down pretty rapidly at this point. We're now down to 1600 meters per second and 25 kilometers above the surface. Actually, that's sea level. This is surface level, 22 kilometers above the surface level. We're now down to 1400 meters per second and decelerating quickly. Excellent. And at this point, we likely no longer need SAS on. There we go. 1 kilometer per second, 900 meters per second, 800 meters per second. Drogues are out. 600 meters per second. Main is out. And at this point, we are completely safe. We can just warp down towards the ground. Are we going to be landing in a city or next to a city? Maybe. These are not intended to be looked at close up. That's for sure. So we are currently less than a kilometer above the surface, and this is an orbital speed here. We're interested in surface speed at this point. There we go. 11 meters per second means that we probably should try to cushion it a little bit with a bit of a powered landing. So we'll just go ahead and go down to 1x here. We're still 100 meters above the surface, so we're like 10 meters or 10 seconds before we impact here. 5. And we'll burn now. There we go. Just wanted to cushion that burn, or cushion that landing a little bit to make sure that we didn't lose this Terrier. Now, we don't have a material study from here or a mystery goo observation, but we can't get the mystery goo observation because we have Bill along. That's okay. We'll go ahead and recover that. And there's our rendezvous complete. So that should have netted us a good amount of cash and a little bit of science. I'm not expecting a huge amount of science from that one. Yeah, 15.9 science. It is enough to get something in this line here, though. We could go for, like, landing to be able to get landing struts. We're going to want to land on the moon fairly soon. Cargo storage units, yeah. I think that landing is the way to go. So we'll go ahead and grab that. A moon landing will be happening soon, but we need to do moon orbit first. So let's go ahead and hop into the contracts here, see if anything else has popped in. Let's see here. Transfer crew between vessels near Kerbal. I mean, we can do it, but we'll have to do 2 flights for that to actually happen. But it is possible. Okay. We'll do it, but maybe not immediately. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, I think we're going to target a moon orbital mission. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.